It's past my bedtime.
Another, it is past his bedtime. Welcome to another episode of The Penguin, where we are going to discuss what the heck went down because there was a lot of things. There was a lot of sadness. There was a lot of uh-oh. Then there was a lot of things. So I am your host once again, Dana Abercrombie. I am entertainment editor at thecoalition.com, and I am joined by Mr. Danny Martinez. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Very, very good episode as always.
Very good episode as always. And so this one was called Gold Summit. And essentially, it has been some time, we don't know how long, but it's been some time from episode 5, where basically it seems that Penguin's operation of Bliss is up and running. It has been distributed. People are wanting it. It's raking in the money. And basically, he is trying to continue to rebuild his organization or just build an organization of the forgotten. We'll just call it as that. And so, as everyone saw, there was a lot of things that happened really quickly in this episode. It felt like I wanted more, and that's kind of what this show needed in terms of like that's how good the writing is. You want more, and they give you a little bit of taste, but you still want some more, kind of like Bliss. So, what are your immediate thoughts of the episode?
As a whole, I think it was great. I think it was a little bit, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but I think it was kind of everywhere. Because it touched a lot on Sophia, and then it jumped to Penguin, and it jumped to Victor, it jumped to the mom, it jumped to a lot of things. But I kind of also get it too because as the season's beginning to wrap, they're kind of like putting everything back together and everything's connected and stuff. But as a whole, I really enjoyed it. That ending. I know we'll touch on that, but I was just like, oh no.
Yes, that was a very explosive ending, and I absolutely loved this episode. So far, it was just really great things. For me, there really wasn't any kind of boring parts or something that they didn't need that they could have cut out. I thought everything was very essential to this show, and I really did appreciate and love this. So, first off, what we did have was a big major thing was the mom's, you couldn't say Alzheimer's, dementia, they call it Lou's body? Louis body.
Louis body, yeah.
Lewy body, basically it's just a deterioration of the body and the mind. She's suffering from dementia, hallucinations, Alzheimer's. She gets different diagnoses. They haven't put it down except for there is Lewy body. But the big thing is that she said to him, if my mind goes before my body does, you
Mm.
have to just basically kill me. And what were your thoughts on that? And you saw him completely break down. He said no repeatedly until he said yes. And you could see the heartbreak in that. So, what were your immediate thoughts on that as a whole?
I think that oof, I don't know how I felt because I don't know how I would feel if my own mother told me something like that. Like that's a difficult decision. I think it's something that will develop Oswald much more if it comes to that. I think I'll touch on that a little bit more towards the end when we talk about the ending because I have a theory about it. But I think that's the moment when Oswald is kind of either going to truly turn into the Penguin and accept that moniker, or maybe possibly Victor kind of will step in to do it for him or something. That's what I would assume.
Right. Yeah, I kind of completely agree. This we'll touch upon with the end. I think that in order for Penguin to become that ruthless person, she has to die. And you're going to need that kind of ruthlessness and complete anger, and he has to, she has to die in order for him to fully become that character. Right now, he's still kind of doing, his mother is pushing him in that direction, and I think he really needs to have be his own person. And the best way is probably to get her out of the picture, which, might end up being so when we get to that ending. So I completely agree, and I do think that it's a terrible situation to have, but it was something that you could argue is kind of necessary because she is, what I love about her is even in her fits, she knows exactly what she wants. She knows exactly what she stands for, even when she doesn't remember anything. And that she's such a strong character in that way. She supports her son. She wants him to, be the man that she knows that he can be, and that's never wavered. And she is okay with not being there for him to see him become, say, the big penguin that he ends up becoming. So that was kind of heartbreaking. Another big major point that ended up happening, Vic caught a body. He's a killer. The street body, and he gave them one. I was very impressed with that part. What are your thoughts?
I was very confused about that because the moment that it happened, so the moment that happens, he kills Squid. He was been a bit avoiding Squid for the past episode or two. Former I guess bully, or I don't really know what their history is
Well, yeah,
together,
because
but
remember he was the one who was stealing the hubcaps
the
for him.
hubcaps,
So it's like
yeah. Yeah, so
local game.
I don't know if he like pressures him to do things and he's like he bullies him, so they kind of work together in that sense because of that. But I don't know. Their relationship was really weird, but the moment that it happens, I'm just like, okay, good. Like, Vic is getting some balls now. He's turning to he's more getting into this life of crime or whatnot. But what confused me was just like, dude hit a guy with a freaking car in like 2 episodes ago. Like, you practically killed this guy anyways. You didn't hesitate. Now all of a sudden you feel bad. Like, he killed this guy. Come on. Like, I don't think they confirmed because he was just some random thug for the Falcone, but he ran somebody over. Like, why are you feeling guilty now for killing somebody? Is it now because you used a gun instead of a car? Like, what's going on? but still, like, it was a good moment for him, like standing up for himself. Like, this was like his moment. It wasn't a thing that he had to save the penguin again and do something for him. This was for Vic. So that was a kind of like he stood up for himself type of moment, which was really cool. But still, like, dude, you ran someone over. What the hell?
To me, I don't view it the same as running somebody over. It was a quick moment, a quick decision. He ran him over, but it wasn't like, to me, it felt so, in a weird way, it felt impersonal because it wasn't like his life was in danger. It was, I have to save Oz and maybe Sophia, but definitely Oz. And I'm gonna just quickly run over this person really quickly, get in the car, leave, and don't think about it. With this was like purely premeditative. He came there and thought the only way for me to get rid of this guy is to kill him. And in a
But
sense,
it wasn't premeditated though, because he thought the money would work. He thought the money he just give him some money and he'll just blow off somewhere and
but
not have to worry.
that was plan A. It was he had the
Yeah,
gun already on him.
yeah.
So it wasn't like, oh gosh, the money didn't work. I'll see you tomorrow. And then, he planned this out. If he doesn't take the money, I'm going to have to kill him. He prepared to kill him, even though he may not have been mentally, kill him. But, for me, this was his transformation moment. This was, an odd way, it reminded me much of the Penguin. Because remember how when Penguin killed Alberto, the son, he was like,
Yeah.
he made fun of him and it was that quick reaction. And what happened to him? He threw the money at him like he was just basically trash. The money's running out. Boom, boom, give me more money.
I did not
And you could
catch
see,
that. Yeah.
yeah, he was picking on him.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
doing that authoritative thing of like, you think you're better than me all of a sudden?
Mm-hmm.
You were stealing for me. Now you think you're better than me and you're running the streets and running me? And to me, I kind of saw that direct parallel with Oz because
Mm-hmm.
what would happen? How did Alberto would have still been alive if he hasn't if he didn't run his mouth and be like, "Oh, you were nothing, you're scum." He would have been alive, and this whole thing would have never happened.
I didn't catch that.
So
That's good.
yeah, so to me, I see like these exact parallels. Well, we discussed this before. He's coming into his own boss in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and to do that, you're gonna have Squid is just a nobody on the street, but he's that boss to him.
Mm-hmm.
So little baby for him to get there, and you saw like the. I think he was more afraid of getting caught as opposed to more afraid of having to murder somebody. because he took the blood off. You could argue both, but he quickly got the blood off his shoe. To me, it felt like, evidence. And it was interesting because it was like the pure white part of the shoe. So you see like the blood, the innocence of the blood, you know what I mean? Like he was innocent, and now look at this blood spatter that's on his shoe. So it was really interesting. And he didn't go to Penguin. He was saying, hey, I have a problem. Penguin was so fixated, rightfully so, on his mother, basically begging him to kill him. Hey, this is this one time where he became a boss. He acted on his own. He didn't go and say, hey, what do I do? And Penguin, you gotta kill him. He didn't do that at all. He made the decision for himself. And Penguin later on realized, hey, what he did, are you okay? Did anyone follow you? And he kind of gave him that assurance, you're becoming a man now. I'm proud of you. So that's just kind of like how I viewed it. So
Another
I was
father-son moment.
happy. It was a nice little father-son murder moment. I'm proud of you. Yay. So that was kind of like how I felt there. Then this is really kind of interesting as well. Eve. Gotta go to Eve. Eve was Penguin's chick, main chick, easy chick, relaxing chick. They had a very.
You gotta have a chick to be a side chick, so I guess she's just a main chick.
His main chick is Mama.
Oh, okay, sure. That's weird to say, but sure.
This is hard. But they had a relationship and an understanding with each other. And what's really interesting is, they had each other's backs until the truth was kind of revealed. So what were your thoughts on that big moment?
I think Cobblepot fucked up. I think Cobb, I should say. He messed up because he lied to her. Like he used her as a alibi and screwed her over. Kind of, he put her in danger and her girls in danger. So I think it's kind of well deserved that he got ratted on by her. Sophia kind of like in that moment was like, "Oh, you still think I'm the hangman? I'm not the hangman." Oswald knew that it was my father, and she reveals everything to Eve, and Eve is kind of like, oh well, shit. So I thought I knew Oz, but I guess I don't. I guess he deserves what's coming to him, and she rats him out. And and a part of it I know is she's saving her own ass, like because she wants to live, obviously, but she also wants to be able to take care of those women in the streets there, just like they take care of her, like she mentioned. So there's a couple of reasons why she did what she did, but I think that motivating factor was just like Oz lied to me, so he's gonna get what's coming to him. So that it was a good moment that like finally something is like coming around, like that karma of just like you mess with somebody, now you're gonna get something in return. So it was a nice moment there too.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was a nice moment. I really did think that she was going to die in this episode. I was like afraid to look because I was like, oh, she's once she opens the door, I'm sure that's it. But it was really interesting. Eve was smart how she set her up with I think it was Roxy was her name. How she told her, tell her where I'm at. Therefore, Roxy, this may be the last time that she, gets money from me. The last time I see her. So, let's do us both a favor. She gets paid and get to have a conversation, I guess. Because she was prepared to die. That's why she invited her. She knew that. She was very much prepared to die. And this was like, I'm going to just be in my comfy mode. This is the real me. She didn't come dressed up as a character. They made a very big point of showing like she's a character and the multiple characters that she can become. But this was a very raw and authentic conversation that they had. And it was interesting that it was between two women. Every time that she's with Penguin, they even said that she's not able to be herself. She has to dress up. Remember, and she's like, oh, does Penguin look like you looking like that? And she was just in her sweatpants with her hair tied up. No, not really. So everything you can argue is like a facade. And this is the one real moment when we get to see with Eve. And it's not even with Penguin. It's with Sophia, another woman.
I guess that's a good point. It's almost like a metaphor for like how bare she is, how exposed she is as a person now because she's not in those in that costume.
Right. And Sophia is exposed too, because she's
Hmm.
telling her honest truth. I did not do this. This is what my father did. And not only that, but this is the man that you think that you loved. Look how he loves you by lying to you, essentially, and using you, as you said. So I truly think that for me, that was like a huge standout moment for the show. And by her giving Sophia Crown's Point, that to me was like not even just a thank you, but more of she did it for herself. It felt like, realizing that everything that we had is a lie. So here's my one truth, and this is the one truth that could actually get you killed. And she understands and she knows that. So
Hmm.
she's prepared for him to die. Um, so that was really interesting, and I absolutely loved that scene. And how it also goes back to her main love is not Penguin, it's the girls. And her main thing was protecting the girls. And Sophia allowed her to live to protect those girls. So, in a way, you can argue that Sophia was trying to make up for her father's crimes.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
killer of the prostitutes, I'm now going to be the one that saves them,
Hmm.
continues to help to save them. And so, it's really interesting how that ends up being. And I truly did love that conversation. Um, I remember. So there was also, I guess we kind of just gotta get to that. Oh, and also really quickly, the conversation that they had where she said that Sophia thinks in black and white. Kind of that right and wrong situation. Did you believe that?
No, I don't think so. I think she was just talking because she doesn't know I mean, they don't know each other, so she doesn't understand how complex a person Sophia is as well and what she's been through. Like it makes sense for a person of the streets to automatically assume that someone born with a silver spoon can see in black and white because they don't know anything about that life, and vice versa. They don't know about each other's life, so it's just an assumption that she's making. So I don't think it's really the truth at all. And if it was true, as Sophia said in that moment, she said, "If that were true, I would have killed you as soon as you opened that door." But she didn't. She gave her
Mhm.
time to talk and explain herself and figure things out. And then on top of that, since Eve had explained, I have to take care of these women, Sophia kind of had that moment of just like, I'm gonna let you live because you need to take care of these women.
So then, kind of also one of the big things was the uniting of the kings. They
Yeah.
cracked open a beer. Basically, Oz invited everyone, the triads, the what was it, the Lost Boys,
The
but
low
basically
boys,
all of
they look like a bunch of bikers and hoodlums and the triad, yeah.
the triads, the Lobo Bods. It was like the Irish group was there.
Hmm.
Um, they had it looked like a Hispanic group as well. So he basically invited what would be all of the criminals of the underworld in Gotham
Hmm.
to unite against Falco, right? He's the one.
Um, yeah,
Was it
Falcon
wrong?
Falcon Gigante. I mean,
Falco.
they mention them both. Yeah, Falcon.
Okay, so to unite against them, and this was also another honest moment where Penguin admitted to everything. Yes, I stole
Yeah.
Sophia's bliss. Yes, I killed Alberto. Yes, I killed basically everyone. I'm a terrible person. I suck. But we still got to work together. We're stronger together than we are separate. And in a way, he's not wrong. And it is again the forgotten city of people. And he made a really great speech saying, the rich people they're rich because of you, not because of what they do, and they don't even treat you fairly. So, what did you think about that scene in that speech as well?
Again, another good moment. I find it funny that you thought it was a good moment for him to kind of like talk about or admit the things that he did. Because to me, although he does admit them all, I feel like it's just more of his manipulation tactics, because what I find that he's really good at doing is telling the truth, he tells the truth and he allows that truth to blur the lines between his lying and the truth. So for him to like say, yeah, I did this and I did that, it makes the rest of them think, okay, he's admitting to this stuff. The other stuff that he's saying might be true as well. It's kind of like that. It's like a psychological like tactic or something. So he's using the truth, and mind you, like this truth that he's admitting, everybody pretty much already knows it. So it's like, what are you really admitting here? You're just using it as a tool to convince these people that everything you're saying is the truth and they should follow you. Which again, still a great moment, because that's the point of him working his way up, is that he's manipulating everything so well. And you can see that everybody is at each other's throats, and especially like with the triad guy. And then towards the end, he gives that speech and they all start cracking the beer as like that sign of just like, I'm in. And then crack the beer and then, toast and they drink. And then they're just waiting for that triad guy, that last guy. And then you could just see Oswald's face is just like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Am I gonna have to kill you? And he just cracks the beer and they all start drinking and stuff. And then once they all start drinking, I was like, that was a big. I felt that moment right at the end when they're all drinking, because I felt like that was truly the moment where Oswald is now really becoming the Penguin, because now he's gathering a huge powerful group of people, and he looks like he's about to be at the head of that table, because he's the one that brought them all together, especially to take down this well-known mobster family, the Falcones and the Gigantes now. So they're coming all together and he's gonna take over. Like, this is another step closer to him taking over, aside from him going underground, practically taking over half of the underground city, selling a bliss.
Right. And then to kind of show off his power, the power came back on. So after he basically threatened the councilman, because he paid his debts to the Falcons and Maronis wanted to, but he didn't pay Penguin. And once again, it was like, I'm invisible, you owe me. And he pulled out those pliers and was ready to rip his nose out. My question to you was that a comic book reference? Penguin and pliers?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, if you really want to stretch it out, there's you could say it's a reference from Danny DeVito's Penguin biting off that guy's nose, and
Oh,
when they're trying to do a bunch of stuff to make him mayor. But that's a stretch. But no, I don't think so.
because I know that the triads are in the comics,
Yeah,
the cartoons, probably both. They
yeah.
are in there. So that was a nice little subtle nod. I like how we get these subtle comic book nods without it being cartoony. I think because I'm just so scarred by Batman and Robin era of superheroes that I'm
You mean
expecting everything to be
The
just
Joel
loud.
Schumacher movies?
Oh, the Joel Schumacher era.
Yeah.
You need some water?
Huh?
You need some water?
Some water?
Yes.
No, I'm good.
You sure? Because you're welcome. I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
No, I'm good.
You need a beer? Crack
Yeah,
open that beer.
shit. I could probably. Yeah. No, never mind.
Okay. So then, yeah, one thing before we get to the big moment was the conversation between Sal and Sophia.
Mm.
Was that, you know, it was a bonding, heartbreaking moment where he was making his lovely eggplant meal. And he taught, his wife was like, here are some recipes that you can pass down to your children. And he has none. But Sophia's there. Do you think Sal and Sophia will form a father-daughter relationship?
I had that feeling, yeah, and although like I don't know if that'll happen really this season, if they have that much time to do that. but that would be nice for another season. You can see that if they even survive, God knows what's going to happen at the end of the season. But if everything goes and they're still alive and they're still running stuff, I can see that happening. I think they both have a void that they're trying to fill, and I think both of them could fill that void, and it could make their alliance a whole lot stronger if they do that. So it makes a lot of sense for that to happen.
I completely agree with that. It's more like we're the only people that we got, so we're stuck together.
Yeah.
Is how I viewed it. They have no family. She killed hers, and Oz killed his. So yeah, it's just a bonding moment through force, I guess. I don't think if they were in any other kind of position, they would even really be friends. But it's really interesting. Sal is now a fugitive. He's a I don't even know if they're looking for him. The city is just a mess. I don't really think they care.
They would never search for a Maroni in a Falcone mansion. So it's a perfect hiding place.
That is very true. So then we got to talk about the big aha, oh no, my heart moment. And the power comes back on. Vic and the mom is dancing to the music. Everyone's kind of happy. It's that weird happiness. It's like something's not right. And that is because Sophia has walked in, and it looks like she's carrying maybe a mallet. It's not a
Uh,
gun. It looks
I
like a
think it was. I'm pretty sure it was a crowbar, but I
crowbar.
could be wrong. Maybe. Yeah, that's what I thought I saw.
And pain. And she's just watching them dance, and she has that look in her eyes. It's weird. It's not even like I'm smiling. It was just more like a "How dare you exist?" look to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, because she
So
she thought that Oswald didn't care for anyone, or nobody existed that he could care for, and he no. It's so crazy how nobody knew that his mom was alive. And this was the reveal to Sophia that she finds this out now, because throughout the whole episode we didn't mention this at all, but like the whole episode when Sophia's hunting Oswald, she's trying to find out if there's anyone worth killing or kidnapping or somebody to try to get Oswald out of underground, and someone that Oswald cares for. And that's why she went to Eve, because she thought that Eve was someone that Oswald would care for, and Eve was like, no, he doesn't care about me that much. And that's why she kind of also let him go. But now she found his mom, and
so was
Victor's
it?
there
Oh
too. Go ahead.
yeah. No, I was wondering this because throughout the episode it was assumed that, remember, she was dead. It was the brother and the mom was dead. Remember, that's what she was told. Remember when they broke into the apartment?
But didn't he have two brothers?
He had
He
two
had two
brothers, but
brothers.
remember when they broke into the apartment and he was
Uh-huh.
looking through things, and he was saying, Sal was saying, "Oh, the mom is dead." They kept that was like a big standout thing. That's why she went to Eve after seeing the photo and the pair of underwear.
Yeah, so I mean they faked her death.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, and to see that she is now alive. I'm wondering this. Do you think Eve purposely sent her down there because of like, hey, he has a mother, or did she think that it was for him to go with to kill Penguin?
I think she was
Because
leading him to Penguin. I don't think she knew about the mom. I think that was just a mistake.
if mom does die and it gets back to Eve that she killed her, do you think she would? How would she feel about that?
I think so. Here's what I think now that we revealed what the ending was. I think Sophia's not going to kill her there in that moment. I think Sophia maybe even knock out Vic, and then she's gonna take the mom, hold her hostage so she could bring out Oswald. And I think at that moment she's gonna say, I found her because of Eve, thanks to Eve, and then Oswald's gonna probably go to Eve first. And yeah, I think Oswald's gonna I think Oswald these last few episodes, Oswald's like really going to detach from everyone he cares for. So I think one of those moments has to be Eve, because that even though it's not like he loves her, but that's still an attachment of his throughout this whole show. So I think Sophia's still gonna lead Oswald to Eve. Oswald's gonna kill Eve. Oswald's gonna find his mom and Sophia, obviously. And I think maybe like he's gonna save his mom, but I think his mom is gonna go over that deep end anyways, mentally, because of the dementia, and he's gonna end up killing her anyways.
Ugh. Oh,
So it was all kind of gonna be for nothing.
So then, what about Vic? Is this Vic's last hurrah?
I don't think he's gonna die. I think in comic book fashion, he's just gonna get knocked out. He's gonna get smacked in the head, and then he's gonna take, and then Sophia's gonna take the mom, and even more of a reason to keep Vic alive is Sophia's gonna be like, hey, if Oswald's knowing where his mom is, tell him to look for Sophia. So Vic could just be the messenger to pass on, where his mom went. So I'm sure he'll be fine.
Okay. Well, it was quite a moment where I think everyone audibly gasped.
Yeah.
But I do genuinely feel that for this, mom is definitely gonna die. Or she's gonna be so great. You know how you're so gravely injured that Penguin has to finish her off. Because if you go back to that conversation, it was how did it go? What if my mind goes before my body?
Before my body, yeah.
But it was overall that conversation was like, kill me. And I think that was for a reason. At that moment, we thought, oh, it's because of the Alzheimer's dementia disease thing. But no, I think that it might be much largely him having to kill her because she is so gravely injured by Sophia and others that come in. That's what ends up happening. Eve, she's a dead woman. Like,
yeah.
I feel sorry for you, but the fact that it led to the mother, this show really does a great job of showing the consequences of your actions sometimes. So this is the consequences of her actions, essentially, which is very unfortunate because she had such a really great scene, but she's there for that one scene, one and done. I don't really think we need her anymore. Rest in peace. Sorry. And when it comes to Vic, I'm interested in knowing whether or not Penguin will blame him. Because remember, his whole thing was look after my mother. We kept saying we really trust you. Look after the mom. Look after the mom. And why technically this is not his fault. How did she get into the apartment? Why wasn't the door more secure? What exactly is going on? So in a way, in a fit of rage, I can understand if he blames him for what happens to his mother if he lives. Who's to say that he's not gravely injured? I don't know. Maybe he ends up becoming one of the characters who is someone from the comic books that ends up becoming gravely injured. And now, I don't know, if we do get another season, he enacts his revenge. I don't know. But I don't think that he's going to be unscarred in this moment. So it's going to be quite fascinating what ends up happening. I don't know, but I do feel sorry. And then it's a weird thing. Should we feel sorry for Penguin? Because he's not a good person. But this is an innocent person. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure Penguin, if the roles were reversed, he would take out an innocent person as well. So how do you feel about that?
I don't feel bad about any one of these characters. Every single one of them are meant to be villains. So we shouldn't be celebrating any of the villains. It's it's kind of like that weird what was it? So when the Joker came out, the one with Joaquin Phoenix, people loved that Joker. People loved that character. And I don't remember if it was a director or if it was Joaquin directly, but they were just like, you shouldn't be celebrating this person. This person is mentally ill. Like this guy's a bad guy. There's no reason why he should be all like fan like with this person. And it's almost kind of like the same thing with like the Breaking Bad character. We all love Walter White, and we wish Walter White like made it out okay and lived happily ever after. But in the end, he was a freaking villain. He was a bad guy. He deserved what he got at the end. So like with this show, it's that same concept. Like you shouldn't have to feel bad for any of them. I mean, you want to root for the Penguin only just because he is a main Batman villain, and you want to still see him in like the movies and go toe to toe with Batman at some point. But that's about it.
Yeah, no, that's true. And we do know that Penguin does make it because Batman too.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves basically said he's getting a bigger story. So we do
Mhm.
know that he exists. Um, Meanwhile, I'm kind of slightly, it's so interesting how they just, Batman no longer just, to me, I just don't care. I'm so vested in Penguin. So it's interesting how they see how they'll switch us to caring about Batman again. But point, track. Point is with this one, this is to me, I think this is gonna be his, it could be his moment to truly shine and become that Penguin person that he is destined to become. And I'm kind of wondering if this means that Sophia has to go in order for him to also rise up. Because if you want to overtake the city, you're gonna always have people after you. But the moment it seems to be like Sophia's the one that's Sophia and Sal are mainly the ones that's after him. And if they get rid of him, then that could make for a larger threat in future. I don't know if we see another iteration of him. I don't even know if we'll get a season 2. Matt Reeves has said that he would love to do more,
Mhm.
but we just don't know anything. And then if he isn't Batman 2, then maybe there's going to be someone bigger than him aside from Batman that they introduce.
I think I don't think they should get rid of Maroni or Sophia, honestly, and that's in a comic book perspective. There have always been multiple mobster families running throughout Gotham and stuff, so I think that dynamic still should happen. I don't think Gotham should be run by just one, just by the Penguin. And it was never like that in the comics either. The Falcone still existed in the comics. The Baroni still existed in the comics. Their families always still had these wars between everyone, including the Penguin. The Penguin was obviously more powerful now, and he's got his own section of the city that he kind of controls and stuff. But there's still that dynamic of like gangster wars and stuff going on, and I think that kind of still helps things. Because what happens if they do a season 2 and everybody's dead? Then you just have to pretty much create new characters, new mobsters, new families, and all this stuff, unless something breaks down between the Gold Summit, pretty much, and the Penguin. Um, but I don't know. That's just it, like one idea.
No, you're. I feel that you're 1,000% correct in that aspect. They have always existed, and maybe they all hate each other, but they still existed in a comic book. And also going back to what Matt Reeves says, which I have the panel and the interviews on the YouTube page as well. Um, these are origin stories. So to cut these characters down in the midst of their origin would
Mm-hmm.
be really disservice to the fans who are literally just getting to know these characters.
Mm-hmm.
And he did say this is the origin story of Gotham villains and of Gotham itself that we know it as. And corruption is everywhere. Um, so then, yeah. So then, kind of, did you see the trailer that they read for episode 7? Because that kind of explains
No,
somewhat what's going. You did not see,
no, I didn't get this. I didn't even know it was out already.
but you got to sit through the whole thing because after the credits and they showed a trailer.
No, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'd prefer nothing to be spoiled for me, anyways.
You prefer nothing to be spoiled. Okay, then I
Yeah.
am going to just. That is going to be
I'm
an
on a spoiler.
interesting.
I'm on a spoiler class and a
You're
spoiler
on a
cast, and I don't
spoiled
want
cast,
anything
not
spoiled.
wanting to be. But an interesting dynamic this makes. But it's getting hot for the
Mm,
Penguin. But basically, without this is so weird. Without spoiling anything on the spoiler cast, um, things heat up.
of
For those
course.
who saw the trailer, they know what that means.
What
Um,
is it? Eight episodes? Is that the season? How many episodes are the season? Did they
I
say?
thought it was. What are we on? I think it's either 8 or 9. I think it's 8.
Mm.
Definitely 10. What are you calling the Bulldogs?
8 episodes total. That's what it
8
says
episodes.
online.
So we got two
Yeah.
more episodes to go.
Yeah.
And there is going to be a lot of animosity to play. But basically, your assessment was right when it came to what episode 7 is going to be.
Mm.
And I look forward because now the power has shifted, and I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe Bruno ends up taking charge.
Who?
Bruno was the black guy
Oh,
who was
wait. Oh, the one
pulling.
that he left. That he left in charge when he went to talk to the
Yes.
Gold Summit? Okay. I
Yes.
didn't catch his
Bruno
name.
could not be in, Bruno could not be in charge. But were there any other final thoughts on the episode? Because we just kind of touched upon the big ones. Were there any little ones? She was like, "Oh
Uh,
snap, that's good."
I don't think it was dope. I found it very strange, but that moment with Sophia and that damn doctor again, that was a really strange
Mm.
moment. And I know we were throwing theories last episode of the spoiler cast about like who this guy is, and because this guy's very strange. He could be Hugo Strange, he could be Victor Zaz, and like I got a Victor Zaz type of feel from him at that moment. And for anybody who missed out on it for whatever reason, like he's sitting on a chair pretty much naked, his pants down to his knees. And I guess Sophia's finished using him, if you know what I mean. And he's got like gashes or almost like Sophia was abusing him and he liked it. And I was just where did this character come from? Like this was not the same person that they portrayed in Arkham. Like this is really strange, and it just doesn't fit anything story-wise whatsoever. So like where are they going with this? And that's how I
Yeah,
felt about that scene. But aside from that, that was pretty much the only other thing that stood out to me.
yeah, I kind of have to agree with you. So I take back my assessment of saying no notes. Everything was great. He's terrible. I don't mean like him, the actor. The
Yeah.
storyline itself just doesn't fit. Like if you cut it completely out, then it's fine. It
Mhm.
works on its own. It's not like something that adds to the story. It's just very weird, and it does feel like it's coming out of nowhere, which goes back to the conversation that they had in episode 5, which was basically, he wanted to have power too. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, where is this coming from? And then you said that this was basically Harley Quinn and Joker relationship. I don't think we need that because it's
I
not
don't know.
doing anything with
It's
the
not.
story. It's not even like he's giving her ideas or you know what I mean? Like, hey,
Yeah.
here's a smart idea. You should probably it's not
And like
doing anything.
that moment towards the end when he says all this stuff and he's like, "Oh, are you bored of me now?" And she's just like, "Yeah, they'll see you out." And she kind of just opens the door and he just goes. So it's like she's clearly using him for whatever reason for any type of gratification, but like that's it. Like she has no attachment to him, but he's obsessed with her. I don't get what's going on with it, and like there's just nothing story wise that has expanded with this aside from the dramatic change from a doctor to an obsessed sex slave. I don't know, whatever he
Fan,
is, fan. Yeah.
what are you even fanning about? I don't even know. Yeah, I would have just appreciated if they went back to the patient doctor relationship
Mhm.
because while everything is happening is very intense, she is still seeking therapy from him.
I would have preferred that because it would have showed a different side of Sophia where she's still vulnerable to at least one person, and that's her therapist. And now
Mhm.
that's completely lost.
Yeah, I completely agree. And she's supposed to have, she had the PTSD, and she's going through a lot of things. But it seemed like they just kind of abandoned that for this episode.
Hmm.
Remember, we was waiting for that split personality to come, and obviously she's not the Hangman. She's
Hmm.
just known as the Hangman, and so it kind of makes me wonder: will she? She's explained multiple times that she's not the Hangman. I'm wondering by the end of the season, she will take up that moniker just to like create fear in people, but you're not necessarily the
Oh
Hangman.
yeah.
Like that fake it, make it situation. Well,
Not
like
only
is
is
this
it
because
comic books, not only is it comic books,
yeah,
but it's Gotham. They're all gonna have nicknames.
yeah. So it just to me it felt like at first I thought they was going with, oh, this is not who I really am, but this is who if you want me to be this, this is
Hmm.
who I'll be. And it's like I'm not getting that at all. So I
Yeah.
don't know what's happening. And that doctor is just does nothing for me as well. So yeah, I don't really think I have anything else at all. Yeah. I think that overall, again, this was a really great episode. Aside from the doctor situation. I do look forward to what is going to happen in episode 7. That should be a lot of fun. I don't know how they're going to get out of this one, but overall, I truly enjoyed it. What about you?
Yeah. I this was great. I don't think it's the best episode of the series so far, but it's still up there. Like it's still really good. Like it still keeps me like wanting to see what the next episode is. So it yeah, it's working.
Yeah, no, it completely works for me as well. I think the best episode was that I think it was episode 4 when that fire. Maybe it was 5. Basically, when Sophia killed everyone,
Oh yeah, that
family.
was great. That was great.
That was best. So that is all that we have to say about this episode. Truly wonderful. So if you have any thoughts, any comments, please leave it in the comments below. Discuss what your thoughts are as well. And we'll see you later. Have a great day, afternoon, evening, nighttime, whatever time you're watching us. So that is us for now. Thanks.